Ecclesgreig House, nestled in the hauntingly beautiful landscape of Aberdeenshire, holds echoes of its tumultuous past, where tales of sorrow and supernatural encounters intertwine. The stories of the area, particularly those surrounding Street Cyrus, weave a rich tapestry of history and folklore that still resonate today. One of the most infamous tales is that of King James I of Scotland, a ruler known for his fierce temper and willingness to enforce justice, often in the most brutal of ways. According to legend, he grew increasingly frustrated with the complaints from the local populace regarding James Melville, the sheriff of Glenbervie, whose tyrannical rule led to widespread discontent. In a moment of vindictive authority, King James allowed the people to take matters into their own hands, an order that resulted in the sheriff meeting a grisly fate, famously being turned into soup by those he had oppressed. This story serves as a chilling reminder of the lengths to which the downtrodden might go when pushed too far, and the spectre of Melville's ghost is said to wander the grounds of Ecclesgreig House, forever seeking revenge or perhaps redemption. The landscape around Ecclesgreig is equally steeped in legend, notably the tale of the blind piper. This piper, a figure of local lore, was known for his enchanting music that could weave spells over the hearts of listeners. One fateful day, he ventured into a nearby cave with his loyal dog, perhaps seeking inspiration or solitude. However, as he played, he became disoriented, the darkness enveloping him. Just when despair threatened to consume him, benevolent spirits emerged, guiding him out of the cave, their presence almost palpable in the air. Even after his passing, locals claim that the sweet, haunting melodies of his pipes can still be heard echoing through the cave, a testament to his enduring spirit. It's said that if one stands quietly at the cave's entrance during twilight, they can hear the soft strains of music that seem to rise from the depths, mingling with the wind and the whispers of the past. Visitors to Ecclesgreig House often feel the weight of these stories as they wander the grounds, each footstep echoing the laughter and lamentations of those who came before. The shadows seem to dance under the sprawling trees, and the air is thick with the energy of forgotten tales. Some claim to have caught glimpses of figures flitting through the underbrush, while others report the sensation of being watched, an ever-present reminder of the house's storied past. As dusk falls, the landscape transforms, the vibrant colors of the sunset giving way to the deep blues and purples of night. It is then that the true magic of Ecclesgreig reveals itself. Visitors gather by the cave entrance, eager to experience the legendary music of the blind piper, their anticipation palpable. Around a flickering campfire, stories are shared, voices blending into the night, creating a chorus that echoes the tales of the past. There's laughter, but also a respectful hush as the air grows still. In that silence, when the wind rustles through the trees and the world feels suspended, the notes of distant pipes begin to weave through the darkness, faint but unmistakable. For those present, the music is a bridge, a connection to the spirits that linger, to the histories entwined with the very ground they stand upon. It becomes a reminder that Ecclesgreig House and its surrounding lands are not just relics of a bygone era. They are living, breathing entities filled with stories that continue to haunt and inspire. As the night deepens, the stories of King James, James Melville, and the blind piper meld into one, creating a tapestry of human experience woven through with loss, hope, and resilience. Those who leave Ecclesgreig carry the echoes of its tales with them, forever marked by the haunting beauty of a place where the past and present coexist in a delicate dance, each whispering secrets to the other under the watchful gaze of the stars. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story. As the ethereal music of the blind piper floated through the air, the fire crackled and cast flickering shadows on the faces of the gathered crowd. Each person felt an electric thrill, as if the very spirits of Ecclesgreig were joining them in this communion of stories and song. Among them was a young woman named Isla, drawn to the legends of the area since childhood. She had always been captivated by the tales of King James and the blind piper, but tonight felt different. The atmosphere buzzed with a palpable energy, as though the veil between the past and present was especially thin. Isla sat close to the fire, her heart racing as the haunting melodies intertwined with her thoughts. Memories of her grandmother's stories came rushing back, the warnings of restless spirits, the tales of the sheriff's demise, and the soft strains of music that could soothe even the most troubled soul. It was as if her grandmother had passed down a sacred connection to this place, and tonight she felt an urgent need to explore it further. Driven by a mix of curiosity and reverence, Isla excused herself from the group and made her way toward the cave entrance. The flickering firelight faded behind her, and the darkness enveloped her, but she pressed on, drawn by an inexplicable pull. As she neared the mouth of the cave, the sound of the pipes grew clearer, echoing off the stone walls like a lullaby from another time. She stepped inside, the air cool and damp against her skin. Shadows danced around her, and for a moment, she felt disoriented, as if she were stepping into a dream. The music swelled, filling the space with an otherworldly quality. Isla paused, closing her eyes, letting the notes wash over her. "Is someone there?" she called out, her voice trembling slightly. The melody responded, rising and falling, a gentle reassurance. Isla took a cautious step further into the cave, the walls slick with moisture. The deeper she went, the more she could sense the presence of spirits surrounding her, urging her onward. It was as if they recognized her intent, recognizing her connection to the stories they embodied. Suddenly, the music shifted, a new melody emerged, a lively tune that made her heart quicken. It felt familiar, like a forgotten lullaby, tugging at her memory. Intrigued, Isla pressed further into the cave, her fingers brushing against the cool stone. With each step, she felt a growing warmth, a flicker of light at the far end of the cavern. As she drew closer, the music grew louder, and the figure of a man slowly materialized, a silhouette against the faint glow. It was the blind piper, his form ethereal and shimmering, as if he were composed of the very notes he played. "Who dares enter my sanctuary?" he asked, his voice echoing off the cave walls, both commanding and inviting. "It's me, Isla," she stammered, awe washing over her. "I've come to hear your music, to connect with the stories of this place." He paused, tilting his head slightly as if to listen more closely. "Ah, a seeker of stories. You carry the spirit of the land within you. What do you wish to learn?" Isla felt a rush of emotions: excitement, fear, and a profound sense of purpose. "I want to understand your tale, the truth behind your music, and the legends of Ecclesgreig. I want to know why your music still echoes in this cave." The piper smiled, a glimmer of warmth in his spectral gaze. "Very well, but know that stories come with a price. Are you willing to listen, truly listen, to the heart of the past?" Isla nodded, her determination unwavering. "I am." With a flourish, the piper raised his pipes to his lips, and the haunting melody filled the cave, resonating with the very core of her being. The music seemed to pull at the fabric of reality, and as she listened, images began to swirl around her, vivid scenes of long-lost moments from history. She saw the piper playing for villagers gathered around a fire, laughter and joy filling the air, followed by darker images of despair and loss as shadows descended upon the land. "Every note carries a story," the piper explained as he played, his voice weaving through the music. "Some are joyful, some are sorrowful, but each thread is essential to the tapestry of our lives. You must honor both the light and the dark." Isla's heart swelled with understanding. She realized that these stories were not just tales of the past but living truths that could shape the present and guide the future. "I want to share these stories," she said, her voice firm. "I want to ensure they're never forgotten." The piper nodded, a look of approval crossing his features. "Then you must be brave, for the world needs storytellers who are willing to confront the shadows and bring light to the truths hidden within. Your voice can carry my music beyond these walls, echoing in hearts and minds." As the last notes of the piper's melody faded into the stillness of the cave, Isla felt a surge of energy enveloping her. The air shimmered, and the cave seemed to pulse with life. She knew that this was just the beginning, a calling that would lead her down a path she had yet to fully comprehend. "Thank you," she whispered, overwhelmed by the experience. "I promise to honor your story." With a final nod, the piper began to fade, his essence blending into the echoes of the cave. "Remember, Isla, every story has the power to heal, to transform. Trust in your voice. As his presence vanished, Isla stood in the cave, her heart racing. She took a moment to gather her thoughts, the weight of the experience settling over her like a cloak. The cave was silent now, but she could still feel the resonance of the piper's music in her bones, urging her to emerge and share what she had learned. Stepping back into the night, the stars twinkling above, Isla felt a renewed sense of purpose. The world outside awaited, filled with people yearning for stories that resonated with their own experiences. As she made her way back to the fire, she understood that the tales of Ecclesgreig were not just echoes of the past. They were living stories, vibrant and ready to be shared. Gathering her friends around the flickering flames, Isla prepared to weave the stories of Ecclesgreig of King James, the sheriff, and the blind piper into a narrative that would connect them all, reminding everyone of the strength found in shared history and the power of voices rising together. And as she spoke, the night air shimmered with the possibility of new beginnings, the spirit of the past intertwining with the promise of the future. As Isla settled back around the fire, her friends leaned in, curious and eager to hear what she had to share. The flickering flames cast a warm glow, illuminating their faces and creating an intimate atmosphere filled with anticipation. "Let me tell you about the stories of this place," Isla began, her voice steady and clear, "about the legends that haunt Ecclesgreig and the spirit that still lingers in the shadows." She shared the tale of King James I, recounting the oppressive reign of Sheriff James Melville of Glenbervie. As she spoke, her friends listened intently, the crackle of the fire punctuating the tension of the narrative. She painted vivid images of the discontent brewing among the people, the whispers that traveled through the hills, and the king's ultimate decree that led to Melville's grisly end. The realization of justice served sparked a mix of horror and fascination among her listeners. And then, she continued, "There's the blind piper, a man whose music became a lifeline for those lost in despair. I ventured into the cave tonight, and I heard him play. His music still echoes within these walls, guiding lost souls even now." Isla's words flowed effortlessly, drawing her friends deeper into the world of Ecclesgreig. She described the sensation of being enveloped in the piper's melody, how it transcended time and space, connecting her to a lineage of storytellers who had come before her. She recounted the visions that had danced before her eyes, tales of joy and sorrow interwoven, each note a reminder of the lives lived and lost in this land. The fire crackled as her friends exchanged glances, the weight of the stories settling upon them. They could almost hear the faint strains of the piper's music mingling with the night breeze, a gentle reminder of the enduring spirit of those who had suffered and thrived in these hills. "Isla, that's incredible," one of her friends, Mark, said, his eyes wide with wonder. "You really saw him? You heard his music?" She nodded, her heart pounding with the thrill of sharing her experience. "Yes, felt so real. He told me that every story has the power to heal, to transform. We need to honor the past and give voice to those who can't speak for themselves." Another friend, Lila, leaned forward. "But how can we do that? How can we ensure these stories don't fade away like whispers in the wind?" Isla smiled, her mind racing with possibilities. "We can start right here, right now. We can share these stories, create a space for others to tell their own. We can document the legends of this land, gather the voices of those who have lived and loved here." As her enthusiasm sparked a fire within her friends, they began to brainstorm ideas, each suggestion building upon the last. They envisioned a project that would not only preserve the stories of Ecclesgreig, but also invite others to share their own experiences. "What if we created a community gathering?" Mark suggested, his excitement palpable. "A night of storytelling where anyone can come and share their tales." Much like what Isla just did, Lila added, "We could set up a website, collect stories, photos, anything that connects people to this place. We can make sure these legends live on, not just in our memories but for future generations." The idea resonated with everyone, a sense of purpose igniting within the group. They began to plan a storytelling night, their minds whirling with the possibilities. Isla felt a surge of pride and connection as they mapped out their vision, each friend contributing their unique strengths to the project. As the fire burned low, casting a warm glow over their excited faces, Isla felt the presence of the piper with them, guiding their efforts and reminding them of the importance of their mission. She knew that this was just the beginning. The stories of Ecclesgreig would not only be preserved but would flourish, breathing life into the community and inviting others to join in the sharing of experiences. As they wrapped up their planning, Isla took a moment to reflect on the night, the music, the tales, and the spirits that had intertwined to bring them all together. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for the legends that had shaped her understanding of her home and for the friends who stood beside her, ready to carry those stories forward. With a final glance at the cave's entrance, she whispered a silent promise to the spirits of Ecclesgreig. Their stories would be honored, their music would continue to resonate, and their truths would never be forgotten. As the stars twinkled above, Isla and her friends sat together, united in purpose and filled with the vibrant energy of possibility. They knew that the journey ahead would be filled with challenges, but together, they would navigate the path of storytelling, weaving a legacy that would echo through the hills of Aberdeenshire for years to come. And in that moment, as laughter and excitement filled the air, the stories of Ecclesgreig came alive, igniting a flame of hope and connection that would transcend time, uniting past and present in a chorus of voices ready to be heard. As the night deepened, the air filled with laughter and the soft rustling of leaves, Isla and her friends finalized their plans for the storytelling night. They decided to host it in the heart of St. Cyrus, where the community could gather under the stars, surrounded by the very landscape that held the tales they cherished. Days turned into weeks as they poured their hearts into preparation. They created posters, reached out to local storytellers, and even set up a social media page to invite people from neighboring towns. The excitement in the air was palpable, and with every passing day, more people expressed interest in joining the event. On the night of the gathering, the sun set in a blaze of orange and purple, casting a magical glow over the village. Isla stood at the makeshift stage, a simple wooden platform adorned with candles and flowers. She felt a flutter of nerves but also a rush of exhilaration as she looked out at the crowd that had gathered. Friends, family, and curious strangers filled the grassy area, their faces illuminated by the warm light. As the first storyteller took the stage, Isla felt a wave of emotion wash over her. Each voice that shared their tale added to the rich tapestry of the evening. Some spoke of personal experiences, while others recounted local legends, weaving their words with humor, sorrow, and triumph. The stories flowed like the music of the blind piper, resonating in the hearts of everyone present. Isla listened intently, feeling the weight of history and the importance of each narrative. When it was her turn, she stepped up, her heart racing but her resolve steady. She shared the stories of King James and the blind piper, recounting her experience in the cave and the wisdom imparted to her. Her words captured the audience's attention, their eyes wide with wonder as she painted vivid images of the past. As the night progressed, something magical happened. The tales ignited a spark in the crowd, prompting others to share their own stories of loss, of love, of moments that shaped their lives in ways they had never expected. The atmosphere became electric, a collective celebration of resilience and connection that transcended time and space. When the last storyteller concluded, the crowd erupted in applause, a thunderous acknowledgement of the power of shared experiences. Isla felt a warmth spread through her, knowing that they had all come together to honor the spirits of Ecclesgreig, ensuring their voices would not fade into silence. As the gathering began to wind down, the moon rose high in the sky, illuminating the faces of those who had shared and listened. People lingered, exchanging stories and laughter, as if they were old friends reunited after years apart. Isla watched with a smile, her heart swelling with pride at what they had created together. In the midst of the revelry, she felt a gentle breeze, a whisper of music in the air. It was as if the blind piper himself was joining the celebration, his spirit intertwined with theirs. Closing her eyes for a moment, she listened closely, letting the melody wash over her. It carried the essence of every story shared that night, the joy, the sorrow, and the enduring strength of community. As the last embers of the fire began to fade, Isla and her friends gathered together, basking in the glow of the night. They made a pact to continue this tradition, to keep the stories of Ecclesgreig alive for years to come, inviting new voices to join in. Tonight was just the beginning, Mark said, his eyes shining with enthusiasm. We can make this an annual event, a way to celebrate our history and bring the community together. Lila nodded in agreement. Yes, we can create a storytelling circle, encouraging people to contribute their tales throughout the year. As they talked excitedly about future gatherings, Isla felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They had not only honored the past but had also forged a path toward a brighter future, where stories could heal and connect. The gathering finally came to a close, and as people began to disperse, Isla took a moment to stand quietly at the edge of the gathering. She gazed at the stars above, the night sky shimmering with infinite possibilities. In her heart, she knew that the spirit of the piper would always be with them, guiding them to share their stories and embrace the echoes of their past. In that moment of reflection, Isla felt a renewed commitment to her mission. She would continue to seek out stories, to weave the threads of history into a vibrant tapestry that would inspire others. The music of the blind piper would forever be her inspiration, a reminder that every voice mattered and that together, they could create a legacy that would resonate through time. As she turned to join her friends, laughter and music ringing in the air, Isla knew that the stories of Ecclesgreig had found new life, and their echoes would continue to thrive in the hearts of all who gathered to share them. The future was bright, filled with promise and the spirit of connection, forever bound by the power of storytelling. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story.